Okay, I'm so glad you brought up the Scientology angle with the Amy Lynn Bradley case because it is super interesting. So when it comes to Scientology, they usually target certain people. Obviously, the big one is celebrities for like status and power, but then the other thing are people who kind of feel unfulfilled, people who have a lot of questions about life, and I feel like Amy Lynn Bradley really fits into that, at least based off of what we the public know about her, especially if it is true that she had just come out at the time and that was really hard on her. She also had a lot of big life changes at the time, not bad life changes, but big ones. She was also very young, which although being young doesn't mean that you're not smart, they could view that as highly impressionable. And on March 23rd, the night before she went missing, the night that she had been at the club with her brother Brad, as well as Alistair Douglas, the bass player, Brad, saw her talking to two women who were dressed in these kind of odd uniforms that weren't the cruise ship uniforms. It turns out that those uniforms were actually very similar to the uniforms at the time worn by the Scientology Free Winds workers. And Free Winds is like their ship, like the Scientology boat. And I guess around midnight, Amy was still talking to them, and then her and Brad's parents came up to her, and with the two women still standing there, and suddenly the women's demeanors completely changed. They were super enthralled talking to Amy, and then they just got really quiet and didn't even acknowledge her parents. And also a lot of things with Scientology is very like hush hush. And Brad believes that those two women boarded the ship that very same day, March 23rd, while they were in Aruba, because their ship, as this comment mentions, was very close to the Scientology Free Wind ship. Brad also said that the FBI are well aware of who those two women are, but then also they would not tell, for whatever reason, Amy Lynn Bradley's family who exactly they are, which has led to a lot of speculation. But possibly accurate speculation, because this is not the only headline like this. Woman claims Scientology cruise ship was like a prison. It's not a super popular theory, but I do think it's a potentially plausible theory that maybe she was talking with those women and agreed to do like a tour of the Free Wind ship when they docked again. And maybe she went really early in the morning to go check out that ship and then got stuck there. And if you're not buying into it yet, maybe this part will help change your mind, because her family got off. They were, of course, freaked out, grieving, wondering where she is, feeling like she is lost. Unimaginable feelings to cope with, especially for 27 years at this point. But they were in a hotel room and they were just asking for like, can we have a priest come to pray with us to find her? And around midnight, like, two Scientology people come to their hotel room, and at first they're starting to ask questions about Amy, and her family are like, oh, well, maybe this is to help like understand her better with the grieving process. But it was things like, how much does Amy smoke? What cigarette brands does she like use? What food